China said that they're not backing down. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's see what we got, y'all.
Mistake upon a mistake. Overnight, China hurled these new accusations at President Trump as it took action, bracing for a real trade slugfest. President Trump is now promising a new 50% tariff on China, on top of the other new tariffs, which are on top of existing tariffs. Combined, this would make U.S. tariffs on imports from China
Shout out to Bill and Nico.
104%. And yet, despite all this tough talk, the markets, they seem a little less agitated this morning. After days of these massive losses and trillions of dollars in value evaporated, U.S. stock futures are pointing up, for now at least. It comes, and it may be...
What? What? Wait a minute. Say it ain't so. Am I up? What? Say it ain't so. Am I up? U.S. stock futures is pointing where? What? So wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We good. We good. We rocking. So you're telling me that we still going. Let me see what's happening. Y'all said y'all want to know what's happening with the markets. Quick look at the markets. Let's see what's happening with the markets. What's happening? I don't want to deep dive too much into the markets because that's what we're going to be doing on the live stream. This is what's happening in the market. So basically, stocks is up today. You say it ain't so. These three stocks are moving. The Dow is up. The S&P 500 is up. NASDAQ is up. Gold is up. Oil is up. Everything is up. So everything is back moving in the right direction. Interesting. Did y'all buy? Did y'all dollar cost average? Did y'all still do what I was telling y'all to do, or did you panic? Did you panic and get scared and move everything out of the market when you hit the low so that you basically take a loss? Because you don't lose unless you sell. You don't lose unless you sell. Did y'all panic? Did you panic? And did you think that the market was just going to absolutely collapse on itself? Oh my God. Did you panic? That's all I want to know is, did you panic? Because if you panic, say so. Because everybody quiet all of a sudden. Why is everybody quiet? Why ain't nobody actually talking about how the market is going to collapse and we're going to go into a recession and everything is going to be the worst that it's ever been? Why don't I hear anybody panicking right now? Why is nobody talking about what's happening in the market? If I'm going in and out, then leave and come back, I switch my connection.
Are pointing up, for now at least. It comes, and it may be because of the fact that some members of his administration have relented on their no negotiation stance. Some members of the administration. The markets in Asia, you can see right there, most of them rebounded after their sharp sell-offs. This comes, though, as China accused the U.S. of blackmail, and China is vowing to, quote, fight to the end if the president moves ahead with all of his threats. So let's get right to CNN's Mark Stewart in Beijing here, because the rest of Asia is in a different place than China is right now, and China really seems to be gearing up for a serious fight.
Indeed, John, despite what the White House may want, China and Beijing is making it very clear that it's not going to budge. And once again today, we saw this shift from diplomatic language to something that's much more defiant. You brought up that phrase, mistake upon mistake. That is some of the language we heard today from China's Ministry of Commerce. And it's taking a very strong stance. In fact, it also went on to say that China will resolutely take countermeasures to safeguard its own rights and interests. As far as what those countermeasures could be, we heard from a state media commentator who brought up the point that we could see more tariffs targeting agriculture, things like soybeans, which we know are so important to American farmers and the broader economy, even restricting or banning American films. We heard at a press briefing just about 4 hours ago from a spokesperson from China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The messaging there, very strong, very firm. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Pressure, threats, and blackmail are not the right ways to engage with China. If the U.S. disregards the interests of both countries and the international community insists on launching a tariff or trade war, China will fight to the end.
Fight to the end. That spokesperson was also asked, would China sit down at the negotiating table with the United States? His response, China has not shown any kind of genuine willingness to have a substantive conversation. John, that's where things stand now, just past 7 o'clock in the evening here in Beijing.
Yeah, no, I know it's been a long day there in China, taking some measures to prop up its own markets. This is what you do if you're gearing up for a fight that may not end soon. Mark Stewart in Beijing, great to see you. Thank you very much.
The Chinese Commerce Ministry firmly denounced President Trump's threat to raise cumulative tariffs on China to more than 100%. That could happen as early as this week. Let's bring in CNN's Christy Liu Stout in Hong Kong for us. Christy Liu, great to have you. Trump ratcheting up, clearly, the global trade war with this new tariff threat. How's Beijing responding?
Well, Beijing is responding this way. It is calling Trump's 50% tariff threat, quote, a mistake upon a mistake, and it is vowing to fight until the very end. It was on Monday when we heard from U.S. President Donald Trump again when he ratcheted up the global trade war, lashing out at China for striking back and threatening a new 50% tariff against Beijing if Beijing doesn't remove its retaliatory 34% tariff. China is holding firm and China is pushing back. We heard.
Do you know that a country is at a disadvantage when they saying that, you know what? We'll stop showing y'all movies over here in China. You know that a country is at a disadvantage when they are saying that, you know what? We don't have to we could stop showing your movies over here in China. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. China is trying. Listen, I have to give them a little bit of credit. Let me give them a little bit of credit. The reason why I have to give them a little bit of credit is because they did two things very smart. The first thing that they did was they started to leverage the United States of America in all of the decades that we helped them build up their economy. And they use that power and their manufacturing capacity because they have been manufacturing goods for cheap for a very long time. And they use that power as leverage against other countries to push their products over there also. So they've basically been bribing other countries and other world leaders to allow for them to sell their products and push that over there and disrupt their industries, their markets, and their neighborhoods and their economies also. So basically, China has manipulated the world market and other countries have allowed for them to push all of their products, and so they hedged their bets. The second thing that they did was they didn't just automatically bend the knee, even though I believe that other countries have bended the knee because they have less capital and less marketing power. They didn't automatically bend the knee, which could possibly put them at a better negotiating position at the table. But they have 100% manipulated every other nation that it does business with because China does not take in hardly anything except for maybe oil from Russia. They don't take in anything from nobody else. They allow themselves to take advantage of everything and they push all of their products into other markets, even if it destroys other countries. China pushes all of their products. They are an exporter, not an importer. The only thing that they import is energy. Everything else they export. So as far as the United States of America, they're at a disadvantage with us personally, but they're trying to leverage their relationships with the world to continue to run it up. And they use it as a hedge for the federal government trying to manufacture a housing economy that could not be sustained. And so when you see Evergrande and all of these other companies starting to collapse, they pushed out even more products in order to take a little bit of that bubble out of whatever this teetering economy was that they had that was collapsing as far as real estate was concerned. China is in dire straits and they 100% was headed for a recession. And the thing that they did was they started pushing out more products to take a little bit of wind out of that bubble, out of the real estate bubble that they had going on over there. because it was a whole lot of conversation and all of a sudden it just started going away as soon as they ramped up exports outside of the country. It's just the truth.
Earlier today, from the Commerce Ministry of China, issued a very defiant statement with this expert.
If you are having problems hearing the live stream, leave and come back.
Bring it up for you. The expert saying this, quote, the U.S. threat to escalate tariffs on China is a mistake on top of a mistake, which once again exposes the blackmailing nature of the U.S. China will never accept it. If the U.S. insists on its own way, China will fight to the end, unquote. The ministry also called for all tariff plans to be dropped and called for dialogue to settle differences. Earlier, we heard from the spokesman of the Chinese embassy in the United States, who took a more measured tone, using language that we've heard time and time again during ongoing trade battles between U.S. and China. This is what Liu Pengyu said in a statement. He said this to CNN, quote, we have stressed more than once that pressuring or threatening China is not a right way to engage with us. China will firmly safeguard its legitimate rights and interests, unquote. Now, China watchers are watching all this very, very closely and believe that China is going to hold firm and China is not.
A lot of what China is depending on is for U.S. consumers. And this is why, again, you'll see Europe, China, you'll see Canada. They'll all say, hey, listen, first thing we want to say is the American people are the ones that's going to be hurt. The American people are the ones that's going to suffer. The American people are the ones that's going to be hurt. The American people are the ones that's going to suffer. They're trying to appeal to you guys because they know that once you realize that you don't need their products and that you can do business in America with Americans, then you'll start to make the adjustment and you'll never go back there. Because why would you want to go back to uncertainty? Why would you want to go back into a situation where it's a possibility where things could get disrupted again? Apple seen this coming a long time ago. Tim Cook went and forged relationships with other countries, including India, to continue to manufacture and market products while at the same time investing in America, because they are building a plant here in America to build and ship out Apple products. In the meantime, it was already working on it because they seen a tumultuous relationship between the United States and China. That's why Tim Cook is the great businessman that he is, because he had already started taking steps to make sure that he took care of business.
Not going to budge. It's
only the people that do business. Listen, for a long time, for a couple decades now, there's been people that have been teaching these classes, hey, listen, this is how you go and get it. Go to Alibaba, go to AliExpress, get a good relationship, buy a bunch of products. If you notice, I never talk about that. I have never talked about that at all. Here, these are the products that you need to sell. Go into e-commerce, come in and rebrand it, right? White label it. So basically, do y'all know what white labeling is? White label your products and then be able to put another name on it and market it. Even though it was made in China, you can design a bottle here in the United States of America, and you can even get the packaging straight from there to say what it is. And so they basically took e-commerce. A lot of people opened up their businesses to buy cheap products, and that's the way that they marketed it to y'all to get rich. And then they say, white label your product. These are the products that's going to be able to get you rich. Get you a good content creator, send them some money, and then this is how you're going to run up a bag. Those are the main people that are complaining about the tariffs on China, because now their business model is going to be disrupted and they got to pivot and figure out how to make a bag differently. They got to change their courses. They can't sell you the courses. I'm telling you what the game is in a summary. I'm telling you what they do to you in a summary. All they're doing is they're going over and they're ordering these products and they getting these warehouses and they figuring out how to sell it to y'all at a price that you think makes sense. When y'all go on TikTok, right? And you go on TikTok and you see these content creators and be like, yeah, man, because, man, I can't wait. Dog, the way this outfit fit on me, boy, you going to have the ladies on you. When y'all go in there and y'all get these cheap juicers and these monitor TVs that you don't need, and y'all got all of these products, all you looking at on TikTok is the new QVC. Some of y'all are not old enough to even know what QVC is. That was before your time. Ask grandma. I don't know. Maybe don't ask grandma. Ask great grandma, because some of y'all grandmas is like 36 years old. Ask grandma. Grandma used to be there looking at the QVC channel buying cheap stuff all the time that she didn't need. You got racks, you got couches, you got this, you got that, you got you got baskets, you got all of these cheap products. And now TikTok is basically a form of QVC. And you see the Asian content creators, and you see all of these people, and they shucking and jabbing. Yeah, man, because listen, buy this makeup, buy these books, buy this camera. Oh, man, I got a new ring light, and I could attach it straight to the back of my phone. Click. Look how clear your things are now. All of those products is from China. So that's why you see all of these people complaining, because instead of figuring out and pivoting, they basically are disrupted because they can't get no more cheap products to sell to y'all and you to be able to market it to everybody, because not only is TikTok under fire because they got to buy that, but also on top of that, their products was worthless and cheap, and you can't just get it at nothing without having to pay to ship it over here or manufacture it inside of the United States of America. So people are mad. They mad. They mad. They're mad. They're mad. As great grandmother, what was it like to do all of the QVC when they had it on TV and you had to pick up the phone? Oh my God, I need all of those new vitamins. That is going to give me the weight loss that I need. Hello, I want to buy everything. That's what it is. And now people is feeling upset. They upset because now they got to actually either pay the tariff or they got to buy and support the United States of America and stop shipping you cheap products. You keep talking about you going to start your new channel. I just need a new ring light. Oh, I seen one on TikTok.
Not going to give up. It's threatening retaliatory tariffs of 34% set to kick in later this week on April the 10th. In fact, this is what Ryan Haas, a scholar at Brookings, had to say. He posted this on X just a few hours ago. It's a very interesting analysis. He said this: I am skeptical that Beijing will blink on President Trump's recent tariff escalation threats. Chinese leaders understand holding firm will be economically costly. They are preparing the public to tolerate pain. Politics may drive decisions, unquote. So, Rahel, China apparently not expecting any trade breakthroughs, not expecting any off-ramps here. Not only that, China is digging in. Rahel, back to you.
So that is what's happening with China. Just want to make sure that I keep y'all in the loop while letting y'all listen to my rants about what happened in history and how nothing is the same. Hot topic, rainbow, though the new, like, what is it? Fashion Nova, Temu, and Sheen, Fashion Nova and Sheen. They had that over in Rainbow 25, 30 years ago. Rainbow was selling that. You know what I'm saying? Forever 21 was selling the Hot Topics. Forever 21 was selling the same products that y'all ordering on Sheen and Fashion Nova. Oh my God, look at this new rubber band. No, babe, that's not a rubber band. That's my panties. Cheap. Cheap, 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 cheap.